Your EV's range is disappearing, and your battery isn't the problem. Studies show the wrong tires can silently cut your real-world range by up to 15%. That's 45 miles gone on a 300-mile car, and most drivers never figure out why. Here's what's actually happening. When EV range disappoints, drivers almost always look into the same three places: battery size, driving habits, weather. Those are real factors. Cold weather does hit range, aggressive driving does drain the pack faster, but there's a fourth factor that barely gets mentioned, and in some cases, it's doing more damage than all three combined: your tires. Not your battery chemistry, not your charging habits, the rubber your car is sitting on right now. The reason tires get ignored is simple. They look the same as they always did. 4 black circles, same as your old Civic. Nothing about them screams efficiency problem. So when range falls short, drivers blame the battery and move on. That's an expensive assumption, and the numbers don't back it up. Why tires matter more in EVs? To understand why tires hit differently on an EV, you need to understand 3 things that make electric vehicles fundamentally different from anything the tire industry originally designed for: weight. Your EV's battery is heavy, often adding several hundred pounds versus a comparable gas car. That weight never burns off. It doesn't shift over time the way a fuel load does. It sits there, constant, pressing those tires into the pavement on every stop, every corner. More weight means more friction at the contact patch, every single mile. Torque. Electric motors deliver full torque instantly, not after a rev build, not after a gear change. The moment you touch the pedal, the force goes straight through the tires. Every stoplight pull, every highway merge, every moment of impatience sends a shock through the tread immediately. Standard tires weren't designed with that kind of repeated, instant loading in mind. Regenerative braking. This one surprises many EV drivers. Regen doesn't just save your brake pads, it actually shifts load onto the front tires every time it engages. In city driving, especially, that cycle of instant acceleration, followed immediately by regen braking, means your tires are working harder more often, with less recovery time between each load. The result? EVs can wear through standard tires roughly 20 to 30% faster than gas vehicles. And beyond wear, there's rolling resistance, the energy your battery sends just flexing that rubber against the road. On an EV, tires consume about 16% of the total energy. In a gas car with 2,000 moving parts generating friction everywhere, it's closer to 5%. In the streamlined simplicity of an electric drivetrain, tires take on an outsized role. Even small differences in tire design translate directly into range. The worst type of tire for EV range. Not all tires damage your range equally, but 3 categories stand out as the worst offenders. High rolling resistance tires. These are tires that weren't engineered with energy efficiency in mind. Older designs, budget options, general purpose all seasons, they flex more under load, which converts battery energy into heat instead of forward motion. On a gas car, that loss gets buried in the engine's general inefficiency. On an EV, it shows up directly on your range display. Performance-focused tires. Soft compounds grip hard, which is exactly what they're designed for. But that same softness means more energy loss through the contact patch. Performance tires also wear faster on EVs because instant torque and regenerative braking shred soft compounds at a rate the tire was never designed to handle in daily use. Aggressive tread patterns. All-terrain and off-road tires look capable, and on rough surfaces they are. But on pavement, which is where the vast majority of EV miles get driven, those large, bulky tread patterns create significantly more rolling resistance. You're essentially pushing extra rubber against the road on every rotation. The problem is that none of this is obvious when you're standing in a tire shop. A tire doesn't advertise its rolling resistance on the side wall. It doesn't tell you what it will cost you in range every week. You only find out later, when your range numbers quietly stop adding up. How much range you're actually losing. Here's where it gets concrete. In real-world conditions, the wrong tires can reduce your EV's range by 5 to 15%, sometimes more, depending on how mismatched the tires are to the vehicle. Run the math on a 300-mile EV. A 10% range loss is 30 miles gone, every charge, every single day. Over a year of daily driving, that's thousands of miles of range that simply disappeared. Not because your battery degraded, not because you drove inefficiently, but because those tires underneath the car were working against it. Studies comparing low-rolling EV-specific tires against standard all-season consistently show improvements in the 5 to 12% range when you make the right switch. On a 250-mile vehicle, that's potentially 12 to 30 miles you're either losing or gaining based entirely on tire choice. Most drivers never connect the two. Range drops gradually. The tires look fine. Nothing dramatic happens. The loss just accumulates quietly in the background. Every charge cycle, every mile. Before we continue, hit the subscribe button to stay connected and learn more about EVs. Why most drivers make this mistake? The mistake isn't stupidity. It's that nobody sets up EV buyers to make this decision properly. When a set of EV tires wears out, most owners do what they always done. They go to the shop, pick something in their size that fits the budget, and drive home. Standard all seasons, maybe a set that's on sale, the car still drives. Nothing feels wrong. What they don't check is the efficiency rating. What they don't ask is whether the tire is designed to handle EV weight and torque. What they don't realize is that the rolling resistance on a generic all-season is often dramatically higher than what their car came with from the factory. Price and grip are what most people optimize for. Range implications never enter the conversation. There's also the expectation problem. Many EV owners walk in expecting 40,000 to 50,000 miles from a tire set, the same numbers they got on their last gas car. First-time EV owners often find their original tires done around 25,000 to 30,000 miles. They assume something is wrong with the car. Sometimes the only thing wrong was the tire choice. The difference EV-specific tires make. EV-specific tires exist because the engineering requirements are genuinely different, and the gap between a standard tire and a properly built EV tire shows up in measurable ways. The core focus is rolling resistance. EV tires use rubber compounds and tread designs developed to minimize the energy lost during each rotation. Less energy lost to the road means more energy moving the car. That's why switching to a properly engineered tire can recover 5 to 12% of range in real-world conditions. It's not a marketing claim. It's basic physics, working in your favor instead of against you. Load capacity. Load capacity is the other critical difference. EV-specific tires carry higher load indexes. They're built to handle the constant weight of a battery pack with excessive sidewall flex or accelerated wear. A standard tire rated for a lighter gas car runs continuously under EV weight, doesn't fail dramatically. It just wears unevenly, runs hotter, and wears out sooner. You end up buying tires more often than you should. Many EV-specific designs also include acoustic foam layers inside the tire, a layer of material that absorbs road vibration before it reaches the cabin. In a gas car, engine noise masks most of what the tires are doing. In an EV cabin, that's nearly silent. Every hum and drone from the road is audible. EV tires address this directly. The compound effect of all three improvements, better rolling resistance, proper load handling, and noise reduction, means an EV on the right tires feels different to live with. More settled, quieter, more efficient. The range number you see on the dash starts matching what the spec sheet promised. When performance tires actually make sense. Performance tires are not automatically the wrong choice for an EV, but they come with a trade-off you need to go in knowing. If you're driving a performance-oriented EV, something built for acceleration, handling, and driving engagement, a high-performance tire gives you the grip and stability to use what the car offers. On a vehicle like that, the trade-off in rolling resistance is part of the package. You bought a performance car. Performance tires make sense. The same logic applies if your driving involves frequent spirited driving, canyon roads, or track days. Grip and handling at the limit matters more than squeezing out extra miles per charge. What doesn't make sense is putting performance tires on an everyday commuter EV because they look aggressive or because they were on sale. Every degree of extra grip a performance compound delivers comes at the cost of rolling resistance. On a car you're driving 30 miles each way to work, 5 days a week, that cost adds up, in range and in tread life. Know what you're prioritizing. If it's efficiency and daily range, performance tires work against you. If it's driving dynamics and you're willing to accept the trade-off, they're a legitimate choice. But it always is a trade-off. There's no performance compound that also delivers top-tier rolling resistance numbers. Pick your priority and own it. How to choose the right tire for your EV. Stop guessing on size and price. Here's what actually matters. Rolling resistance rating. This is the number that directly connects to your range. Look for tires with an A or B rolling resistance grade on their EU label. If that information is available, or look for tires marketed specifically for EV efficiency. If the spec sheet doesn't mention rolling resistance, that's a sign it wasn't a design priority. EV-specific models. Bridgestone, Goodyear, Continental, Michelin, and Hankook all make tires built specifically for electric vehicles. These aren't rebranded gas car tires with a new label. They're developed from the ground up with EV weight, torque profiles, and energy efficiency in mind. Choosing from this category is the simplest way to avoid the most common mistakes. Load index. Check the load index on your current tires and match or exceed it on replacements. EVs are heavy. Running a tire rated for a lighter car on a heavier EV is a fast track to uneven wear and early replacement. Beyond the tire itself, maintenance matters too. Keep tire pressure at the level specified on your door placard, not the maximum printed on the tire sidewall. Running even 3 to 4 psi low on a heavy EV increases rolling resistance, accelerates wear, and costs you range. Rotate more frequently than you did on your last gas car, every 5,000 to 7,500 miles instead of 7,500 to 10,000. Get alignments done on schedule. These habits are always good practice, but on an EV carrying battery weight through every mile, skipping them costs more. The goal isn't the cheapest tire or the grippiest tire. It's the tire that keeps your range where it belongs, handles the actual demands of your EV, and lasts long enough to justify what you paid. Your EV was designed to deliver real-world efficiency. The right tires are what let it actually do that. Drop a comment below. What tires are you currently running on your EV? And have you noticed a range difference after a swap? Subscribe for more EV content that skips the noise and gets straight to what actually matters.